Good evening, everyone. Today I welcome you all to this panel discussion of the anthology Curry for the Spirited Soul. Friends, our evolution as humans from the prehistoric times until this 21st century has been very interesting. During the prehistoric times, human beings could not imagine being left alone. That meant for them to be death. And our progress from there to until today in the 20th century, when we are called as narcissistic, has been really strange and scary. And it felt scarier during the COVID times when we had that realization like never before that we need connection, we need togetherness. And when calamity strikes, then human beings start craving connection and they start craving togetherness. But we at Literary Warriors Group thought, why to wait for calamities to develop connection and togetherness? And that's why we wanted to keep this light of togetherness and connection even during the times of peace and calm. And so we came about with this anthology, which is an inspirational anthology, a motivational anthology by the name Curry for the Spirited Soul. So this has been curated by our dear Neelam Saxena, and 36 authors have contributed their pieces of heart as anecdotes to this anthology. So Purnima ji has actually gone backstage. I'll just add her to the stage one more time. Okay. So Purnima ji, can you hear us?
Yes, I can hear you.
Okay. So this anthology has been edited by yours truly and Miss Nitya Shukla. And as I told you, 36 authors have contributed to this anthology and contributed 44 pieces, which are very inspirational and motivational. So today we have amongst us, like all six of us are the authors who have contributed to this anthology, and I'll welcome them one by one. The first author for today is Nivedita Roy, recipient of Real International Runner-Up Award 2023 for the poetry from the Significant League. Nivedita Roy is a teacher and accomplished author. She has published five poetry books, one essay collection, one short story collection, and co authored around 40 international anthologies. Her poems and articles have been featured in numerous global magazines, newspapers, and online platforms. She also hosts literary shows, fostering connections in the literary community. A native of Lucknow, she currently resides in the Kingdom of Bahrain. Nivedita's work reflects a blend of cultural richness, human emotion, and a dedication to promoting literature across borders. A little echo is coming. So please mute yourself. Those who have not muted yourself, please mute yourself. So welcome Nivedita to today's panel discussion.
Thank you so much, Maitri. I would first like to give a big shout out to you and Nitya for going through all the pains and efforts. And we, being the admins of the group, know what kind of pains you went through to, collect stories and edit them and then bring it out in the most beautiful book called Curry for the Spirited Soul. Also to Neelam for curating the whole thing. Also feel very proud to be associated with the Literary Warrior Group. So my writing journey also
Yes, we want to
is
hear it.
as interesting and as the same way every housewife and a woman has that procrastination moments. I will do it tomorrow, I will do it later. So I have been writing since I was a teenager, but I never took myself seriously. Only during the COVID times I had some very encouraging feedback from my own daughter, who encouraged me to start a blog of my own on Facebook and Instagram. And during that time, I happened to find a Literary Warrior Group. It used to be Poets and Writers Den, Maitri, if you remember.
Yes.
And from then till now, there has not been looking back at all. Then I found some lovely partners in crime like Wahida, We have been soul sisters from so many years, and there's so much love and this whole family. So, just to say that after that is just going on and on. And I don't want to miss the chance to say that Literary Warrior Group has a huge platform in my writing journey. I would like to end here. Thank you, Maitri.
Thank you so much, Nivedita, for your kind words and also sharing your writing journey and how it has that the COVID times have affected us as human beings all over the world. Our next writer for today's evening is Pallavi Jain. Pallavi Jain, born in India and a former chemistry professor, finds harmony in interconnectedness of all things. This is a specialty of Literary Warriors group. People from diverse backgrounds like chemistry, me being like from medicine, all of us have like gelled together like inseparably. And so I'm really proud of it. So Pallavi is from chemistry. She was a chemistry professor, a bilingual poet in Hindi and English. She draws inspiration from nature, using writing as a meditative path to peace, self discovery, and understanding. Her work explores the depths of human emotions. An active member of various online poetry portals, she has recited at prestigious platforms including NCPA Mumbai at the Embassy of India, Bahrain, alongside poets from Oman and the UAE. She also nurtures passions for art and environmental causes. So, Pallavi, over to you. Please share with us your writing journey.
Good evening, everyone, and thank you, Maitri, for such a beautiful introduction. My writing journey. You know, I started actually writing in school at very young age. We had our Hindi teacher, so whenever she used to teach us any poem, she would say, write Bhav Samya. Bhav Samya means another poetry which means the same, which has the same moral and similar meaning. So,
Okay.
okay, for homework, we could refer the books, and all that time we didn't have internet and stuff. So, of course, we used to refer books and stuff. But for exam, in exam, some unknown author's poem will come. So, how can we write Bhav Samya there? So, I started making up my own poem, and I would write Kisi ne kaha hai. So, that's how my writing journey started. And
Right.
I kept writing, and in between, because I was a science student, so too much of study pressure, so in between I didn't write. Then almost a decade back, when I moved to Bahrain, so some like-minded people, they formed a poetry group. Some were from South India, some international, and different backgrounds. So that's how I started writing actively, and then I kept connected to different platforms. And of course, with Neelam ji, she has given us such a beautiful platform and such beautiful souls. All of us got connected with. So thank you, Neelam ji, thank you, Maitri and Nitya, for this beautiful anthology, and hoping to read everybody's piece when I get the book. So thank you so much.
So thank you so much, Pallavi. The two things that you have highlighted are that Neelam Saxena page has created this connectedness, and every poetry group does that, and we come to realize that there are many like others, like us around the world. That gives us so much heart. And another thing is that meditative and meditative. Purnima ji, please mute yourself because again it started echoing. And Pallavi, another thing that you highlighted is it is a way for meditative peace that you derive from writing. So I really
Truly.
appreciate that those both those points. So that our next, so Anupji has joined, and thank you Anupji for joining. We welcome you to this panel discussion. So our next writer for today's evening is Anju Kapoor. She is also in Bahrain. Today, coincidentally, all three of you are in Bahrain, right? Yes. So this is
Yes.
almost an international panel discussion today. So
Yes.
Anju Kapoor is a Bahrain-based bilingual poet, author, and visual artist whose evocative work bridges English and Hindi. A postgraduate in banking from the University of Mumbai, she channels her personal journey into raw, confessional poetry and stories that resonate with emotional honesty and depth. Her writing reflects life's unfiltered truths, intimate and deeply human. For Anju, writing is both catharsis and connection, transforming vulnerability into strength. Through words and visuals, she creates a space where introspection meets resilience, inviting readers to their own experiences reflected in her heartfelt storytelling. So, welcome, Anju. We would also love to listen to your writing journey.
Thank you, Maitri. Thank you, everybody, for connecting and our co-authors. It's such a beautiful a moment for me to see everybody in not in person, but at least online. For me and Maitri and Nitya for bringing this beautiful book together, and thank you, Neelamji, for this platform and for bringing all the creative minds together. Thank you. For me, poetry is it all begun, I think, somewhere in 1991. And I remember I was just sitting on a step in my university, and something really, something sad happened and something unfortunate, and I was like really sad. And I did not want to discuss that with anybody at that moment. My heart was quite full, so I just took a paper and I just scribbled 2 lines on it, just 2 lines, and I just kind of, after writing, I just tore the paper and I just threw. But then at that moment, I felt a great sense of relief. It just like as if the entire gamut of emotions just kind of evaporated. So I came afresh, anew, and I just realized over a period of time how writing truly helped me to be spontaneous, firstly with my feelings, to manifest very positive emotions within myself, and to give a catharsis of whatever is going on, all the gurgling emotions which are like bubbling within me, to express, and then to connect with others as well, because I sometimes believe that whatever I'm feeling, it could connect or resonate with the other person who's feeling almost similar emotions. So for me, writing is a very, very honest act. I honestly feel that if you write with honesty, every word of yours is rolled in poems and in stories in the most raw, organic way. Thank you.
So that was wonderful, Anju. And it's so true. I always feel that poetry has to be a place, poetry and your writing has to be a place where you have to be truthful, you have to be honest. And if you do that, then it is actually very, very therapeutic, you know. So I appreciate this point of view definitely. And you are most welcome to write more and more. And we would want to hear those raw emotions which you will present forever in your writings as poetry and as prose. So thank you so much, Anju. Our next writer for today's evening is Mrs. Purnima Rao. She is a retired physics teacher with 37 years of service from a prestigious school in Jabalpur, MP. Passionate about languages, she expresses her thoughts through prose and poetry on heartfelt issues. She also hosts and coordinates online poetry meets. Her poems have been published in 5 anthologies, including Goonj, The Breaking of Shackles, Mosaic of Poetical Musings, Waqt Ek Rahasya, and Unscrambling of Time. Yug Purush, Shriram Yogi series, and Whispers of Spring Serenade. Currently, she pursues in-depth study and chanting of the Gita through online classes. So, welcome Purnima ji. Can you would you please share your writing journey with us?
So, namaste to all of you. Good evening to everyone. Actually, the one who did really push me to write is just on the screen next to me. That's Wahida. So she was the one who really encouraged me. Well, she'll be saying that I encouraged her. Maybe it was mutual. Okay, we used to sit just side by side in school, and the small little tidbits that she used to write, and I used to write. We sort of pampered each other. Maybe that pampering was so rich that both of us grew. So thank you, Vaida, and for introducing me to this LWG. But my interest in literature started way back when I should say, in middle school. We had a tenant. We used to call him Uncle Bert. He was more of a household than a tenant. He used to read a lot. He was a voracious reader. And when I was in high school, I remember him giving me tidbits of so many wonderful poetry pieces. Although I couldn't understand much of it, he used to pass on, handwritten, lovely handwriting he had. And he used to pass those papers in which he had written those passages. Like he used to quote from Rumi, Khalil Gibran, and all these things. I was so small, I couldn't even understand at that particular point of time. But he said, read. One day you'll understand. So now, after so many years, I really, now I understand. But he was lot of sort of, I should say, a very driving force in making me appreciate literature, the power of the word and literature. And I started writing late. It was after 2014 that I started. It was when I started, it was more of something like I wanted to vent out an anger of someone. I felt so very strongly about something, so I wanted to vent out something, and I found poetry as a very good medium to vent it out. So it started like that. Then some more platforms, even there, Vaida introduced me. There, writing poetry for prompts and all those things I learned slowly. And LWG has been a great encouraging platform. So thank you, Neelam ji, and also Nitya ji and Maitreyi ji for bringing out this beautiful book. I know you'll have gone through lots of effort, editing, and all these things. So thank you all for publishing such a beautiful book. Thank you so much.
Thank you, Purnima ji. Actually, you have, from your words, you have highlighted how inspiration and motivation from the fellow poets also works so much for us. And that actually starts our journey, and then mutual connection grows. So, thank you so much, Purnima ji, for your wonderful words and sharing your literary journey. The next writer for today's evening is Wahida Hussain. She is a bilingual poet and blogger from Jabalpur, India, and a senior school teacher by profession. She has co-authored 25 national and international anthologies and authored 2 poetry books, Mend My Broken Wings and Echoes of Eternity. Vaida also edits poetry collections. Vaida also edits poetry collections. She has edited Seher Ki Chhav Tale, The Poet Scribbles and Gunj, Breaking the Shackles. Actively engaged on social media, she has received numerous awards and appreciation certificates for her contributions to literature. Her passion for writing short stories and poetry continues to inspire a wide audience. So, Vaida, you have not mentioned anything about your amazing limericks in this bio.
Yes, the
So,
bio. Yes, I missed that because it's recent one. Na? Okay,
it's a
thank
recent
you
one.
so much for such a lovely introduction, and you're being such a lovely host. Thank you, Mrs. Rao, for your words, and even Nivedita, thank you so much for being partner in crime, I should say. We discuss so many things we used to discuss. Now we both have become busy. I mean, she's also very busy, and sometimes timings clash, so we cannot communicate so much with each other. But we really had a very, very good time. We have Anup Pandeyji also here as a viewer, and we had once upon a time, Maitri, if you remember, we used to really have fun. Now so many
Yeah.
newcomers have joined in, so like sometime I
Yeah.
become very hesitant, to write something funny because it doesn't suit my age, I think like that. And I avoid. Once upon a time, we were all of the same age, same group. So it was
Yeah.
more we could connect with each other. That I'm not saying it's not, it's of course positively I'm saying this. But yes, it was like that. We could, because we connect according to our compatibility, and there's so many things that we keep us connected. Now, yes, as Madam said, that we used to sit together, and I wasn't so good. Like, she was the one who used to check me for my grammatical mistakes. I remember very much. I mean, I remember that. I had a lot of grammatical mistake, and she used to tell me to correct it. then, as you must have remembered, I've told this many times, Metri and Nivedita must be knowing this. It was Neelam who really inspired me. She motivated me, I should say. She was the one to push me. In 2017, we were classmates in Nagpur, Jentara Pasi, and we had our alumni function after many years. And it was in 2017. She must have read one of my article in Facebook. A short story it was, which I have written, and she told me, Vahida, why don't you start writing? Because I've never taken writing seriously. Yes, I was, of course, a voracious reader, read a lot, but at the same time, I never used to write. So I wrote a very small story, a Facebook story, how it is. So she just read and she said, you must take writing seriously and you must start writing. And after that, I didn't take us much seriously at that time. We got connected, of course, on Facebook. And then it all happened in 2019 and 2020 when I joined Writers, that Poets Den. What it is, Nivedita, it was poet,
Poets
writer,
and Writers Den.
poets, writers. Then
Yeah.
I joined, and
PNG. Yeah.
then, then we started with the online anchoring. We all started with that was the beginning of my anchoring with Hindi and English poems, and then of course I got connected with everyone, and they were all naturally they were all writing so beautifully. Then I started with first, seriously, I started writing in English. And it was all raw emotions at that time. Whatever used to happen, I used to write about that. That is what, as she said, it's the outlet of our emotions. So whatever we saw, so that was happening at that time. And it was a lot of, because we were all so free at that time, we had a lot of time in our hands. So we were like quite busy for those 2 years online, I should say. 2021, I should not say lucky for, because it was a bad time for all of us, but this was the constructive period for some of us. I should say that it was a creative period for some of us. And thank you for Neelam, really Neelam, that she has started this platform and she really encourages budding poets. That is very important. I have seen there's a lot of competition in other groups, being senior and junior and all these things, people, they don't want to really, like, even you must have seen our festivals. Like Nivedita, you missed this year festival, but I asked Mrs. Rao also to
Did.
join us. But I'll tell you, there were so many young poets. Those the poetries we had at that moment. What it was. The on-spot poetry. They were all youngsters, and those youngsters were given chance in Marathi, English, Hindi. So this is what I really appreciate about Neelam, that she gives chance to all the budding poets. I mean, the seasoned poets are, of course, there to inspire, but these budding poets, they all really come up well. So thank you so much, Neelam, for such a lovely platform. And thank you, everyone. You're all part of my journey. Even Pallavi is part of my journey. Like, we met in Mumbai, we connected.
Yes.
You have always
Yeah.
been there. And of course, now one of the new poets I'm seeing. So everybody is a part of my journey. Thank you so much.
Wow.
So thank you so much, Vaida, for this wonderful thoughts that you have shared about your writing journey. And one thing that I want to just remind you is that when Neelam is there, we do not need to feel old, because she herself is so bubbling and so much,
Yeah, that is
she has so
what.
much amount of energy, and she's
Yeah,
always joking and laughing
and
and
joking.
being as
That is laughing and very lively
so
person.
so that I myself have the tendency of like lapsing into a lot of seriousness, but when I see her, when I see all of you,
Yeah.
then I kind of realize that no, there is so much to laugh at and so many things to do. So
Correct. Correct.
LWG and Neelam has definitely given us that place to laugh also, for sure. And it is wonderful being here. And so it is so nice to listen to all of your journeys as writers, and then how it has led to this anthology, where you have shared your pieces,
Yes.
the pieces of your heart, and they are so candid and
Yes.
so honest. So thanks to all of you. plus all the writers who are watching.
Yeah.
So,
Now I think it's time to introduce our host, Dr. Maitri Joshi. So Dr. Maitri Joshi is an ophthalmologist and a psychologist by profession and an enthusiastic writer. She has two books of poetry published by the name of Shells and Melodies and Insight. Pinhole, A Bit Clearer, is her first novel. Her short stories and poems have been published in a number of Indian and international journals and anthologies. She practices ophthalmology and psychology in her clinic, Eye Care Center and Insight, and stays in Pune for past 20 years. She suffered serious COVID infection and hospitalization for 52 days during the pandemic and has written a memoir of her illness recently by the name On the Edge. She received the award of Best Book in Fiction category at Literary Fest of Literary Warriors Group at Sahitya Academy, Delhi, for her book Pinhole, A Bit Clearer. So, yeah, Maitri, would you like to
so
share your writing journey?
yes.
And but
Thank
it's
you
a
so
little
much,
scary
Pallavi.
that you were hospitalized for so many days. My gosh,
Yeah.
it is scary.
So, yes, thank you, Pallavi, for this wonderful introduction. I have always been, since I was a little kid in school, I have not been a writer, I have been a scribbler. So, I had that uncanny tendency of scribbling everything that came into my mind. It was mostly useless, whatever it was. And it until today, my husband throws the things that I scribble here and there. And previously, my mom used to throw things because kind of it was not used, they never felt that it was for sharing. But when my daughter was almost 2, I wrote one poem when I was 20. Later on there was nothing constructive was written. When my daughter was around 4 or 5 years old, at that time suddenly I started from that scribbling. I thought that whatever I was writing is worth sharing. So, and at that time, that poetry, online poetry pages started mushrooming, you know. So, I logged into one poetry site, poemhunter.com. I think there were lots of poets over
Yeah.
there. I started sharing poetries over there. And from Poem Hunter, suddenly something crashed on Poem Hunter. So, all our Poem Hunter people came on Facebook. So, then there was that huge Facebook community of poets, and I was not very active in the poetry community in Pune, but then I met Neelam. And then the whole wide world of poets, writers, and like kind of khazana opened in front of me. And then there was no looking back. Then I not only published, previously I had published one book of poetry, but later on I got more and more confidence that yes, my poetry is worth reading, worth sharing. So I created my second book. Then I did not want to stick to poetry, I wanted to be more adventurous, so I published my first novel. That was during COVID. And then I collected all my short stories that I had written through these all these 10 years. And then I published a book, Cut and Dry, that is about my short story book. And because I was hospitalized, and somehow I don't tend to stick to negative things. I just tend to forget. So everyone started suggesting to me that you write that account because somehow it is valuable. So then I wrote that book, On the Edge, about my journey. It was not really horrible. That time should not come in anybody's life ever. That is my wish. But I wrote it down, and that is my last. Now I want to do more, and I want to confess that it was things became so busy, as Vaida and Nivedita said, that I said to Nilam ki jane do, I will not do it. But then she, as she pushes us, she, no, do it. So don't worry, everything will happen. And then here I am with this anthology, that the finished work that we are so proud of today. But that, yes, definitely the whole credit goes to Neelam, that she pushes every time. Like she has pushed me every time whenever such times have come. So thank you, Neelam. Thank you, LWG, for providing us with this platform, this connectedness, and this togetherness. So, moving on now to our anthology. The anthology has 44 pieces from all these authors who have come together, and each piece is unique and each piece is so beautifully written. It was amazing. Each time a piece came to me, I and Nitya were the first to read these amazing pieces, and it opened our world after reading each of them, from as little as some kind of little difficulty in life to some huge difficulties like physical problems. They have faced difficulties plus some serene times, and each moment that they have shared with us has motivated them, has inspired them, and when their times were difficult, they came out as winners. And so that is the speciality of this anthology. And so now we are going to read the one passage that is our favorite. Actually, there is no favorite. To tell you the truth, there is no favorite. It is so difficult because every dimension is so wonderfully covered in that book. So there is no favorite. But because, another thing that I want to just inform the viewers is that these our authors from Bahrain have not yet to receive their book. Their book is with their relatives, and so now today they are going to take this opportunity to read each other's little pieces, little passages. And those of us in India who have the book are going to read the passages that we pick today. It is not a favorite. Let me tell you that no favoritism here, because it is so. It's like if you have two children or three or five children, you can't differentiate between them. The same is our situation. We cannot differentiate between all these 44 pieces at all. So let us begin with Nivedita. Nivi, please read your piece and let the viewers have that joy of listening to it.
Thank you, Maitreyi. Not actually boasting, but I have to say that there's so much of talk of Bahrain going on. And with LWG, there was a time that everybody used to joke about me in the group to say this is the only NRI slash Pravasi Bharatiya. So all the people from Bahrain, actually, I have connected all of them to LWG, and I feel very happy that I brought some very lovely writers and talented people, uh, close to LWG, which is the very, very positive platform. So I am reading something from Pallavi's story, which goes like this. Almost a decade ago, I watched a YouTube video that inspired me to take up an initiative. I collected old soft toys from friends and converted them into garden decor using cement and paint, preserving children's childhood companions and reusing toys that would otherwise have been discarded. I also learned to convert old t shirts into no stitch bags. It was an interesting idea, which I tested by inviting some friends over with their used t shirts. We were able to easily make shopping bags that could replace plastic ones for daily use. I used this initiative to host workshops in many schools online. Over the years, I have taken up similar projects to create awareness about the urgent need to take action to conserve our environment. So, the motivation, my friends, lies in the last few words. And I have seen Pallavi
Amazing.
grow from there. And I think at the moment, this is the biggest motivation the earth and the world requires: awareness to
Definitely.
sustain and protect the environment. Thank
Yeah,
you,
yeah.
Pallavi.
Thank you, Nivi. Thank you so much. Yeah,
That
I'm
is
always, even
so.
in fact, even my poems have imagery of nature. I'm so connected to nature. We all should be, because we are what
Yes,
our environment, our nature has given us. So yeah,
definitely.
thank you.
Definitely. And you are not just admiring and just feeling, you are taking that initiative. That is so great, good to know. That is so good to know. So
Thank you.
after Nivi, let us move on to the next writer, and that is Pallavi herself. Pallavi, please
Yeah,
read your passage.
yeah. Can I mean somebody's audio is echoing? Can everyone mute, please? Yeah, thank you. Now it's not. So I am reading a passage from dear Anju's story, which is in fact very inspiring. So here it goes. I had always been terrified of being underwater, haunted by the fear of losing breath and drowning. Such nightmares often woke me in the middle of the night. I knew it was deep rooted anxiety, nothing more. My heart urged me to silence my overthinking mind and to trust my survival instincts and quell the panic. But fear grips you tighter than you expect, leaving you jittery and overwhelmed. Lost in a surge of doubt. Can I really do this? Should I just turn back and quit? I barely noticed the voice behind me, gently calling my name. I turned to see my instructor, geared up and smiling. Perhaps she sensed my nervousness instinctively. With a calm demeanor, she placed a assuring hand on my shoulder. It will go smoothly, she said. Once you take the plunge, you will begin to enjoy it. So I think, yeah, I'm still scared of swimming. I don't swim. And hats off to Anju if you have managed to learn it because we have little time constraints, so I cannot read more. So, wow, even after so much of fear, if you swim now, hats off.
You, yes, you shouldn't read more, Pallavi, because we don't want to take away that suspense of what it is all about.
Correct.
But
Okay.
she has described that
I agree,
feeling.
Maitri. Let's just leave it hanging.
Yes.
Correct.
But then even in that passage, that feeling of being scared to actually moving to the thing that you want to do is so amazing, and it's
It
wonderful, Anju.
is.
So I think everyone is going to really be inspired to do the thing that they want to do and have not been able to achieve until today. We have some amazing audience over here. Neelam has joined and Rupa has joined, and it is wonderful to see her comments, lovely comments. She is also saying that ditto. I am scared of water as I do not swim. So we have lot of company for that. People scared of swimming. So our next writer to read the passage is going to be Anju herself. So Anju, over to you.
Thank you, Maitri. Thank you, Pallavi, for reciting my verse so beautifully. I was actually engrossed in it. I kind of just forgot everything around. It's very haunting, very beautifully spoken. Thank you so much. I mean, it was really well done to you.
It's
I
so well
still
written.
Thank you. This is a very, again, as I said, as a writer, you have to be very honest. Even if the vulnerability is staring at you on your face, you've got to look back at it, and then you can find true answers to your anxieties, to your fears, to your, repressed fears, especially. So I used to get nightmares. I still do sometimes because everybody's scared of maybe heights or water or I don't know driving, many things. But for me, it's always been water. I always feel that my death will come to me by drowning. I don't know. I'm sorry, guys. I don't want to be very pessimistic here, but yeah, that's my biggest fear. So I needed to overcome this, and I tried doing it to an extent. I would say 70% it has helped me because obviously once you start taking the lessons, the breathing techniques, that you can stay afloat. So the fear of drowning kind of vanquishes inside you. So till there I am safe and I'm grounded now. So yeah. Now moving on to Nivi's story. Wonderfully written, Nivi. It was very, very inspiring again because I could relate to your passage. And the story, her story is titled, I'm a miraculous child. Yes, I am. Indeed, you are. I see always a twinkle in her soft brown eyes every time she speaks to me. So, yeah, she's like that. Quote, I am a living testimony to faith, to miracles, and to the power of prayers. During all those years of immobility, I never had any medication. Just bed rest and prayers were my prescription. And here I am, walking, leaping, and praising God for His mercy and grace. My parents are the reason I am who I am today. and I am deeply grateful for them and for all I have achieved in life. How beautifully and well expressed. I would just take a minute extra because I really need to put my reflection on her concluding passage, which moved me very deeply. I have always known her for resilient nature, and she always brings a smile. And she'll always say that, when we in Bahrain, we have this monthly meet between three of, our friends, and she's the one who always pushes us, let's do it, let's do it. And we will make some bahana or the other, but she says, no, she nudges us, no, let's do it, let's do it. So she is very warm, and she never believes in giving up. And I saw that kind of profound reflection in her, right, especially in the concluding lines. I feel an outpouring of Nivedita's profound faith flowing through every word, making a recovery nothing short of being miraculous. And definitely there's an honesty and humility in her gratitude that touches everybody's heart instantly, where she's expressed her gratitude to God and her faith so deeply rooted, and definitely her close bonding towards her family and vice versa. Her parents' constant support became her guidance and medicine on her road to recovery, a very tender emotional anchor to her recovery throughout. Well written, Nivedita. And I think each one of us honestly have a reliability on all our, the family that we owe. And I think they are our cherished, people around us. And I know in times of difficulty, we can always just reach out to them and we are sorted out. So thank you so much for bringing all the inspiration to us.
So, Nivi, actually, whenever we meet, then we are not sharing the things like difficulties that we have faced. And so, when it so happens that I read these passages, then I realized that, oh, that is a story that Nivi has. That is also the story that Nivi has, actually. So, thank you so much
Thank
for
you.
sending in that anecdote. Moving on to our next writer, Purnima ji, for your passage.
Thank you,
Purnima ji.
Maitriji. You gave me a choice to read a passage of my choice. Thank you so much. Uh, One particular story that really touched me was that by Dr. Balesh Jindal, the man. It's a it's so very touching. I'll just give a little bit introduction so that I can read the passage and then it'll make some sense. It's about a couple who are married for 20 years with 4 kids, and the husband is just a rickshaw. He drives an auto rickshaw around Delhi, and Dr. Balesh is, of course, she's a doctor and he's her patient. And this is something that happened in his life. The wife gets pregnant after 20 years, and he finds out that the child is not his. And the way he behaves is amazing. Amazing because it's totally different from our perceptions of how an Indian man could have reacted. It's totally different. And his honesty, the wife's honesty, everything is so well brought out in this short story. Hats off to Balesh ji for having written it out. I mean, even her thoughts which go in her mind are actually the thoughts that come into our mind too. So that's the degree of honesty that you really feel when you read the story. So let me read a few lines for you. Ones that have really touched me. So the patient comes and he's with the doctor. So he says, she's asking him, the doctor, what do you want me to do? And her thoughts are maybe he wants help divorcing her. Instead, he says, please get it cleared up. I'll pay for it. He said, now gathering enough strength to speak clearly and without hesitation. You'll pay for the abortion? I asked, incredulous. I looked at him closely. He didn't seem angry or upset with his wife. You're not angry with her? Why should I be angry? She's been a good wife to me. I love her very much. She's made a mistake. he said simply. Anyone can make a mistake, he added. His face glowed with a certain confidence. That's one part of the passage. Another I'm reading. He knew her suffering was greater. Her guilt was eating her alive. And she didn't even have the comfort of being the good one. Had he slapped her or shouted at her, it wouldn't have been so hard. But the absence of anger, the sheer acceptance, made her shame more profound. I looked at the couple, trying to absorb the elevated humanity of that moment. I realized that guilt itself is the biggest punishment of all. Love and acceptance of the erring one are enough to send the guilty to the depths of misery. Though Ramesh had no intent to make his wife miserable, it happened anyway. An uneducated man, unread, unaware of profound philosophy. How had, how had he climbed to such a lofty place? So the beautiful words that really touched me, and it's a beautiful piece that she has written for first had experience that she had with her patient, and our whole perception of a husband here needs to be given a shake up. Thank you all so much.
Yes, definitely. Yes, Purnima ji, it's true. And when I read this piece, I really agreed with Balesh because as a doctor, I have also realized that education does not actually impart someone a depth of thought. Uh, some people just have it, and some people just do not have it. And we think that only educated people will have, but sadly, it is not true. So I agree with
True.
Balesh on that totally.
Exactly,
So thank you
exactly.
so much for choosing this very, very different kind of a piece for today
Yes.
and totally enjoyed it. And I'm sure everyone else is keen to read that piece now. So our next writer for today who is going to read a piece from the book is Wahida. So I welcome you, Wahida, to read your piece of choice today.
I'll be reading Dr. Madhumita Bhattacharya Ji Nayar's. She has written beautifully. She's written about her mother first, and she wrote about her mother. Then she wrote about herself also, and how her mother inspired her. And then I find this very interesting, and I could relate to this particular part. My broad nose, because my we are five brothers and sisters, and I am the one with the broader nose, and the other, they have very sharp and pointed nose. So I've been always been, they used to tease me with so many names, associated with broader nose. So they were very proud of their sharp and nice, huge noses. So, and we Indians are sort of obsessed with noses, I have seen. So with my brother, so I could relate with her, so that is why I'm reading this particular piece. So my broad nose, a broad nose is something I have lived with, a little broader than the usual on the tip, and I'm short too, she says about herself. People made me conscious of it many times, but slowly I started ignoring them and started liking and living with my imperfections. The imperfections we carry with us make us look good, make us unique, they make us who we are. Imperfections are what make us human, giving us a depth, character, and individuality. This is what happened with my four brothers and sisters. They look alike, very beautiful, very smart, very tall. But I am the individual one, and I know it very well. I'm the unique one. So I could really relate to her. And I'm going to read out this passage to them also.
So
So I'm going
are
to
you
take out my, revenge sort of. I'm being very. So I was very happy to read this. I said, there are people like me. Then she writes, beautifully, she has written, then there is so much more to us than just our imperfections. While our imperfections shape us, they do not define us entirely. We are a blend of strength, dream, resilience, and infinite possibilities. Try raising your self consciousness and begin looking at yourself as one with immense potential, immense beauty, and immense power, and drive it into your mind and your heart too. You can create and do anything with this utmost belief in you. Self belief is the foundation of all great achievements. All I can say is just be yourself. Be proud of your imperfections because the Creator made you such unique and special. Thank you so much. Thank you, Maitri, for giving me the chance to read Dr. Madhumita Bhattacharya Nair. And I thank her also so that I could relate to her. There are so many
so
things you cannot write on your own. You don't have that kind of courage. But when people
so
they write, so I'm very
but
happy.
Vaida, you stole my piece. I was going to read exactly those lines for today
Really?
because yeah, exactly.
Really?
So
I mean,
basically, I was going to read it because I get so many patients who have that. So I wanted to read it out to them that see how she
okay.
has written, because there is something called as body dysmorphic disorder
Yeah,
where
that is
people
true.
are so depressed about something. Like we may have
Mhm.
felt that this is not good about me, but then we just have that thought. For them, it becomes crippling thing, something that they cannot shed off, and then they just pull out of life. So I was so keen on reading this piece. First, thank you so much for reading it.
And
Now I have to
this
change
piece is
mine.
mostly for my siblings who have always told me about my, of course, we make fun of each other, and I
Making
used
fun
to
of
roast
each other.
them. So it was all, I said, no, I'll read this.
So, so I changed my piece now. The piece that I am going to read is from Meera Bhansali. Actually, this is another issue. When a woman is supposed to be working, as well as she is supposed to be giving herself completely, totally to the kids, to the house. And if I have not seen a woman who has not gone through that dilemma, the hard choice that she may have made at one point of time. And this piece actually reflects that dilemma so well. And so I'm just choosing this piece from Meera. I'm a student, and she gave herself to motherhood and to a house, and then she took another course for her life. So that is about her. I'm a student of life, constantly updating myself on what's happening in the world, whether it's politics, social trends, emerging technologies, or the latest meme on Instagram. I keep my pulse on the now because reinvention isn't a one time act, it's a lifestyle. I used to think I had lost time, that I had missed the bus, but now I know my journey needed every pause, every detour, every quiet moment of reflection. Because had I not lived those years with full presence for my children, I wouldn't have the empathy that now shapes my spiritual work. Had I not observed quietly from the sidelines, I wouldn't have become the anchor who speaks with authenticity and depth. Had I started earlier, maybe I would have risen faster, but maybe I wouldn't have had so much to say. And for any woman out there reading this, wondering if it's too late, let me tell you this with complete certainty, it never is. So that
Yeah.
is from
Yes.
Meera. This is so important
True.
because even I have such experiences when, like, I did not go to the hospital because my daughter was sick. And later on, I realized that I did the best thing that I should have at that moment, because now I feel so good about having done what I was supposed to do at that point of time, and now doing exactly what I want to
Yeah.
do.
Yeah.
So take heart, ladies. It is hard, but you will definitely reach your
Yes.
sweet spot. what I can say, your own sweet spot. So, this is from all of us today. We have read the pieces that we at this moment found worth sharing. They are all spread over the book. There are different words, different pieces that will inspire you. And not only during strife, but during the times when there is peace and calm, everything is fine, then also you can feel joy after reading all these pieces. So today, now we come to the end of this session or show about and the panel discussion for curry for the spirited soul. And I totally enjoyed doing this session, doing this panel discussion, and reliving those moments when I edited this book and brought all this together. So thank you all of you for watching this. And
Thank you to you. Thank you so much
Thank
for
you, viewers. Thank you
Thank
all
you.
for the encouragement.
yes, so thank you so much. Bye bye from us. Have a happy
Bye
weekend.
bye.
Bye bye.
You too.
Bye
Bye bye.
bye. Bye
Take care.
bye.
Thank
and
you. Bye
thank you
bye.
to
Bye
Nitya
bye.
also. I couldn't thank her. Thank you to